Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with all the resources you need to become a successful author. You can learn more about Authors Unite and join the free community at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today, I have Christine Perakis with us. She's the founder and CEO of Christine Perakis Global, a best-selling author, a speaker, and a serial entrepreneur. So welcome to the show, Christine.
Thanks so much for having me, Tyler.
Of course. Thanks for joining us. And we'll dive into the first question. The first question I have for you is, what's the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
When I first looked at that, I thought immediately of the best story. And then I said, wait a minute, is this a good story or a terrifying story? I just survived 2 Category 5 hurricanes in 2 weeks last year, and I was home alone. And one of the things that I learned from that has been hugely valuable is that we have to rely on community, and none of us in business or in life need to weather the storms alone.
And what's the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Well, as a professional navigator, having navigated businesses, boats, and people across 5 continents to safely reach their destinations, and created a bunch of tools to help people really understand why do they get up in the morning? What is their why? Simon Sinek said it best in his best-selling book, Start With Why, and I use it in all of my work, in my book, in my online platform, and strategic planning sessions to help people really get underneath their core ideologies for why they even need to exist as an organization, as a product or service.
And what's your best piece of overall business advice, and not necessarily industry specific?
There are going to be storms. You will encounter them. You will weather them. And you can be sure that there's going to be another one once you've weathered the one that just passed. And so knowing that there's specific strategic and tactical steps you can take to lead your team and to be able to weather these things, and that you can do it in community with others that are on that, in that process, will take you as far as you need to go.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
I would say worry less. You'll get to the other side no matter what.
And in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
You know, I struggle with that because I don't think of happiness as a goal. I think those are moments that we string together. So I think, you know, following your passions on a daily basis, every step and everything that you do in furtherance of what you're passionate about, whether that's one thing or multiple things, will string together a happy life.
And what's the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
And this is besides my own book, right?
Yes.
So I've been rereading Vern Harnish's Scaling Up, and I love it because it's really about getting clarity around a corporate vision, but in new language that breaks it down into things that are central to who we are, unchanging and unbending, unwavering in our values, and identifying our purpose that is also something that's not up for negotiation and so aspirational that it will never be achieved, but every step we take and everything we do is in furtherance of that.
And what's your favorite quote and why?
Most recently, again, I've come across something that a couple of them that I like, several. I think Elon Musk's talking about starting a business. He says it's like eating glass and staring into the abyss of death. And I've done it over and over again. I've started, grown, and expanded 10 businesses on my own and with partners to some great success, and helped navigate hundreds of others doing the same for their businesses as a lawyer and business advisor. And you really have to be prepared to endure everything, which is why the why is so important. And I love how he nails it with the visceral.
And thank you so much for coming on, Christine. The last question I have for you before we let you go is, where's the best place for people to find you online?
At ChristinePerakis.com is my website. I also have an e-learning platform with tons of content for small businesses looking for some tools to grow at businessbreakthroughpro.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Christine. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks again so much for having me, Tyler. You take care.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.